After the first episodes of this second series were all made in US, we jump in Europe, where we tell the magic story of another bean-to-bar chocolate maker that after a long period of experiences and works has found his new dimension in Germany. Artisanal production made with a lot of curiosity, attention, passion, quality and love. Welcome in Chocozone podcast. We started quite 1 year ago with the first edition. We started presenting ourselves, our schools, and we showed that a new market was growing everywhere, hosting people in our podcast that was from any continents from more than 20 countries. In the second edition, we started where the bintu bar born in the US. Now, after 6 episodes, it is time to come back in Europe and see how the bintu bar has changed the lives of new chocolate makers also in our continent. So, this time we are in Germany and we are with someone that born in has origins from South of America, the cradle of cocoa, and arrived in US to have a great career in another field, like the financing. And at one point of his life, he decided to start a new life, new job, together with his wife. And he started before with ice cream and then arrived with chocolate, bintu bar chocolate, surely. So guys, now I have to present our guest. Here we are, Ronald Utz. Hello, Ronald.
Hi, Ronald. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a great honor to be on the podcast, and it's a great honor to join my two friends.
Thank you. So, usually we ask to our guest to introduce himself, telling how was his life before chocolate. I have just said something, but I think you have to say more.
Of course. Like Umberto said, my name is Ronald Utz, and I'm located in Germany. And despite my name, how I look, and where I am, I'm not German. So I was born in Ecuador. My family comes from Argentina. I'm the great grandson of Russian immigrants that came to Argentina and built Argentina into an agricultural exporter. And so I have very close connections to farmers, to the soil. And soon after I was born, my family moved back to Argentina, and eventually we immigrated to the United States. So that's why I speak English, and I grew up there. I ended up studying accounting and finance, and that led me to an international career, working in the US, working in Singapore. Since 2004, I've lived in Europe, 3 years in Paris, and 6 years in Switzerland. My wife, Davina, who is not just my wife, but my partner, she also has been living in Europe almost as long. She lived in Belgium, and we met in Zurich, in Switzerland. So in 2013, decided to get off the corporate train, and we went off to start a new adventure in a city that neither one of us had really any connection to, but we felt it was a good place to start our ice cream business, and we've been here ever since.
I think the Germans are one of the people that eats more ice cream in the world, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. So one of the higher consumers, it's counterintuitive because the further north you go, the more ice cream that we consume. We just consume it in a very short period of time because we, just have a few weeks of summer. But Germany, and in particular the city that we are, when the sun starts to shine, everyone goes out for ice cream. And it's a tough market, I would say, for ice cream. It's a very saturated market, but if you elevate the product, if you do a very good job, then it's actually a good business.
So I can guess that when you decided to start the chocolate making business, okay, you started in your ice cream laboratory.
Yes.
So can you share with us some of your memories about those moments when you just switched from one product to the other?
Well, it wasn't one day I woke up and I made the switch. It was a gradual process. I would say coming from Switzerland, having lived in Paris, my wife in Belgium, we thought we knew what chocolate was. And I would say that today I know less about what chocolate is versus what I thought I did before I even got started. But in 2013, when I made the jump from corporate to self-employed, I had to take a break to go to Ecuador. German bureaucracy being what it is, I had to get some work there where I was born, and I took the chance there to travel, to learn of the country where I was born, because to be honest with you, other than being born there, I didn't have much connection. And that's where I met cacao farmers. That's where I got my first taste of chocolate brands like Pecari, República del Cacao. Yeah. And I saw it presented to me in a very different way. And that's where the sort of seeds started to germinate in my head. Through other trips, I took another trip to Peru. I went to the Madre de Dios region of the Amazon. I was more involved with cacao farmers. I saw a burgeoning movement happening in Lima with bean to bar makers. And that got the ball rolling a little bit more. And from there, I bought, the little home kit, stone grinder. Being in the ice cream business, I have a down period in the...
We are talking about which year was it when you were in Peru and Ecuador?
Ecuador in 2013, Peru and Madre de Dios 2015. And that's when I got my little premier stone grinder, and I started to make nib to bar chocolate. I think my first origin was Granada, the Granada chocolate company. I think that I got some nibs, and I made a chocolate that blew me away. It was terrible, if I think about it. But at the time, I never imagined that such interesting and fruity flavors were possible from the raw material. And so, I did everything wrong in retrospect. The machine seized on me. I had to get the hair dryer. I put all the ingredients in at once, which you shouldn't do. All the things that everyone does wrong. But I'll never forget that day when I walked into the kitchen after the next morning and I smelled that. I will never forget that. And every single time that I go into my laboratory and I open the door and I smell that, it became a passion. And slowly but surely, with more time, I learned how to roast the beans. I remember my first batches were Madagascar one time, and then I did a porcelana from Venezuela, and then I did an Ecuadorian origin, and then there was no turning back at that point, because the variety, the creativity that you could employ with just the basic ingredients, it won my heart.
Yeah, and it is curious how you are not the first that started to make the experiments, and in the beginning you have not a very good final product, but you understand how to arrive to have a good product, and you cannot stop to go on. And now you are not the first, really. A lot of people start in this way, doing experiments, and then arrive to be a chocolate maker. Yeah. Great.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I think for me it was important to not only make mistakes but have fun with it, and it started as fun and continues to be fun. And the more I learn, the more fun it becomes.
Yeah. Let us know something about your brand, your company, where you are located, and Truly Chocolate is the name, I guess. You consider yourself a micro batch chocolate maker. What does it mean exactly for you?
Yes, so my batch size is somewhere between 18 and 22 kilos, and I'm talking about the refining capacity in the melanger. Micro batch in and of itself, I think a lot of people associate it with quality. For me, what it means, it's not necessarily the size of the batch that differentiates the quality, but the fact that I'm making it in small batches allows me to understand very well my quality. And so, if every single aspect is under my hand, so from roasting to cracking and winnowing to sorting the beans to refining to conching, and ultimately tempering and molding, I understand very well if there's something off, if there's a tiny detail that is different, if I receive beans one season that were different from a different season. All of those things are under my control, and because I am an artisan, I can make adjustments, and I can deliver a product that I'm ultimately 100% in control of and proud of at the same time. That's what it means for me to be microbatch.
Ronald, you switch from ice cream to chocolate, but you are still an ice cream maker. So I imagine you in your laboratory, okay, mixing kind of this product. So some chocolate goes into the ice cream, fruit that normally goes into ice cream, but also some beans origins are fruity, so you can mix it up things. Are you used to make pairing with one of these food with other food or drinks? Can you tell us about, because I think it's one of the more natural thing to pair two foods, two different kind of food.
Yes, I think there's always interesting combinations that you can do with chocolate in many products, not just ice cream, but we certainly do use some of our production. For ice cream is a different market, and so really we sell a lot of ice cream, and I cannot produce all the chocolate myself for my ice cream production, but certainly for certain flavors, like our vegan chocolate ice cream, for example, I produce the chocolate myself. Also, with certain inclusions in the ice cream, I use my own chocolate. For example, we make a version of stracciatella, but with raspberry sorbet. And so I like to use one of my fruitier chocolates for those inclusions. Also, we sell a lot of chocolate drinks, and so both in the winter time and in the summertime. In the summertime, we make a cold chocolate drink, and we like to use vanilla ice cream or some of the other ones, hazelnut. Those make good combinations with chocolate drinks. Also, baked goods are very easy to sell with combination of our chocolate and our ice cream. Cookies, for example. Those are always sort of creative things that you can do as a small business with one foot in ice cream and one foot in chocolate.
But do you make pairing also with the food or drinks that you don't produce? I don't know, with wine, beer?
Yes, absolutely. We partner with some friends of ours that have a brewery, and they use our nibs to infuse with a stout. Here in Germany, you cannot call that beer because beer only has to have 4 ingredients. But it's a stout, and it has nibs. And we actually during the pandemic, we used that opportunity to do a lot of craft beer and chocolate pairings. There's a lot of things that we can do together with other businesses, collaboration, and it helps both of us and it's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, we can see that we can say that the beer crafters are like the Bintu bar chocolate maker versus the big companies, or not.
Yes.
Yeah, it is the same standard, no?
Yes, there's so many similarities in the different craft movements. You want to talk about coffee. Coffee is one of the best ways that we move chocolate, actually. We have a good network of specialty roasters and cafes that carry our chocolate. They're used to the origins, and especially with the so-called third wave coffee movement, people are if there's a little bit of acidity in the coffee or the chocolate, they find it interesting as opposed to terrible, and they'll spit it out. Yeah. The same goes for beer. People are looking for flavor journeys. They're looking for combinations, and of course, specialty wines, specialty alcohols. All of those things combine really, really well.
Yeah, this is the revenge of the crafters against the big company. Yeah.
Yes, and we're small, so we have this advantage where we can find opportunities. Sure. And why not? We help each other out.
Yeah. Which are the origins of the beans you use the most? Did you feel from the beginning that to have more than one origin is a mandatory approach to start the business, or not?
I don't think there's anything that's mandatory. I think so truly craft chocolate is a brand with two ingredients. So we make 2-ingredient chocolate. The reason why we wanted to do this was we saw so many opportunities to bring what the origin means to the customers. But if you only have one or two origins, then that's not, you sort of limit yourself. But if you have a wide array of flavors, there's some that are extremely fruity, there's some that are fruity and balanced, there's some that are more delicate, floral, but also balanced, and there's some that are just a sort of strong base chocolate. And I thought it was a good idea to have at least 6 origins. Right now we have 6 origins. We're going to add a few more, hopefully soon. That allowed us to give this experience to the customers. I viewed it from the perspective of not just providing a good, which was chocolate, but also providing a service. Thinking down the road that we would like to do tastings. Of course, this was before COVID and the limitations, but the idea was always to bring customer interaction and customer participation in terms of what it means.
Do you have a direct relationship with the farmers? I mean, you buy directly to the farmers, and if so, what do you think it brings to your business? I mean, as a positive effect of not having any, broker or other companies that buy the beans for you?
Yeah, I would say with chocolate, right now we work with brokers. We are just a small producer at this point. I really enjoy my times with the cacao farmers. I think that what the work that they are doing is very important. If I had a cacao farmer in the area, of course I would be buying direct. I buy direct with my ice cream business. We establish very good relationships with the farmers. We buy the nuts direct, we buy the milk direct, and we talk a lot about the price that we pay and why we pay it. When it comes to cacao, first of all, I want to say, that people like Uncommon Cacao or Silver Cacao or some of the others, they are providing an excellent service. Not only an excellent service, but an excellent product. And, I think when you are a sort of small scale guy like us, you don't necessarily want to get in the way with regard to the farmer. Having said that, in the future, I really want to be more integrated into cacao, whether that means direct trade or some other way. But I want there to be a much deeper connection between my chocolate bar and the people that brought the raw material to me. I think that's extremely important to tell their story. But it takes time, obviously, and it has to be in a way that, number one, doesn't compromise quality. I think a lot of people don't understand how complex growing cacao, harvesting cacao, fermenting, drying, importing, storing cacao here in Europe is, and we're just not there yet in terms of the impact and the expertise that we can bring.
I saw that you are developing a blog, and I'm curious to know if you started that blog to share your knowledge and experience with your chocolate maker colleagues, or is more towards the consumer to make them aware of healthy food or good food or natural food? What was the very first approach to the blog?
We're very open. So truly, we believe in transparency, first of all, and that goes for chocolate makers as well as the customers. But it's mostly to bring awareness of how we work and why we do what we do. A lot of customers, for example, they don't understand that we hand sort the beans. We make sure that everything that goes into the chocolate bar is of the highest quality, and everything from the roast file to the amount of time that the chocolate was conched and refined. All of those things take, we take great care in those details. And so we wanted to just make our customers aware of this through the blogs and also through social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is your main market? Can you sell abroad or just locally? You have dealers, importers, exporters, something like this.
Yeah, so we try to sell as much as we can ourselves through our own retail space and online. We have, like I said before, like a really good network of small independent shops, mainly coffee roasters, specialty cafes. They sell a lot of chocolate for us, and they do it very well. And we have personal relationships with them. There are also chocolate shops, wine shops, people who are independent and we have a good relationship with. Most of our customer base is in the south of Germany, where we are present, but we do have businesses outside of Germany. We have businesses in Austria, Holland, that carry our product as well. It's all organic, so we're not out there cold calling and trying to push our product. We also have a lot to do, so we've been really thankful that people have sought us out. So far, we don't go with distributors. We don't have the capacity for that, and also we want to really make sure that the people carrying our product do it in a way that is wholesome and organic for us. We don't want to give away our product. We don't want people that aren't really motivated to sell our product. Not to say that the distributors aren't motivated, but so far, we're trying to keep up the production with the motivated people in our area that are selling the product.
Yeah.
So, right now we are almost sold out of a few origins. I have to get back and work. And until that changes, there's not too much motivation to really distribute it.
And how has been the market during the last 1 year with the COVID? And did you start also with the selling by the web or not?
Yeah, so we started the online shop, I would say at the very end of 2019, right before the pandemic started. We started selling just a little over 2 years ago. And it's been difficult because the retailers have been scared to buy a lot of inventory, and we have been scared as well. We're all keeping our head down, waiting for this thing to pass. But slowly we've seen traction build. We've seen people that love the chocolate and buy it every month, either on the website or through the shops. And some of those are big orders. And so we're very thankful for those people. We have some very loyal customers so far. Since we're doing a 2-ingredient chocolate that is single origin, it's a fairly unique product. It's not like this chocolate tastes like every other chocolate that they've tasted. And because we are sort of independent brand and we have an independent mindset, they're happy to buy it from us, and we get to know our customers, and I think that's important as well.
Yeah.
Are you planning to produce more than ice cream and chocolate in the future? I mean, other products like biscuits, coffee, or whatever. And in particular in chocolate, more than just the bars, the chocolate bars. In 5 years, I don't know, do you want to experiment new chocolate products, or it's fine like it is right now?
I think, my rule is I have to do it myself. And so with chocolate and ice cream, we do everything from scratch. If an ice cream, for example, I never bought a base from anyone. I make my own nut pastes. So I have to be extremely proud of whatever I do, and I want to do it myself. Otherwise, I can go back to my old job and sit behind my desk, and that's not really my thing. So to answer your question, absolutely. I keep my options open. In fact, we already started with a line of baked goods with our chocolate. I think that there's huge potential in making chocolate for bakers and chocolatiers and other colleagues. Whether or not I can do it at an attractive cost, that's another question, and maybe we'll talk later about what options there are. I think my rule is, as long as I can do it to the best quality that I can, I will always look at it, because there are many opportunities. I think selling a chocolate bar, especially a single origin dark chocolate, is fairly difficult. Not everyone understands what that is.
Yeah.
And when you selling a cookie with a chocolate, or selling a hot chocolate, those are much easier to do, I've learned. And I think there are endless opportunities once you are a chocolate maker to go into other products. As long as you do it to the best quality that you can, you have opportunities.
But ice cream in summer, chocolate in winter. Do you have some holidays? Maybe sooner or later.
It used to be that I had 4 months of free time, and now I don't. But those are good problems to have. It just makes you, as a businessman, think, well, you have to start removing yourself from every single detail. Not that I want to change anything, but as you get bigger, you start to think of the possibilities of scale, and how to slowly focus more on being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. How important is the technology in the processing of bintu bar production, and which is the most important part of this process, if you think that there is one that it is more important?
Technology is extremely important. If I think a little bit about the contribution of technology and how the machines have changed in bean to bar, it has become a very democratic process. So, companies like FBM have made making chocolate very democratic. The barriers to entry are lower. The quality standards are higher. I make 2-ingredient chocolate, so it's very hard to make this type of chocolate. And every single detail is very important. So everything from, the roasting curve to the refining process, the conching process. I own a Kligo. I use it very often to adjust my acidity. But I would say specifically when it comes to 2-ingredient chocolate, especially at the 70%, where you have maybe 37% fat, 38% fat, the trickiest part is the tempering for me, because it's a very different chocolate when you have a low fat content. And for me, the technology, and specifically the FBM technology, is my partner.
Thank you.
I depend very much on this, and I'm very happy with it.
Ronald, we have quite finished, and like always, we have to do the last question of our podcast. So how do you see truly chocolate in 2030, and how will change the bean to bar movement in the next 10 years, according to you?
Right. So, if I've learned anything through COVID is to not make any, real concrete predictions, but I would say that for our brand, the focus will always be quality. I don't have a chance to compete on cost. I come from the big corporate manufacturing world where you have huge cost advantages. So I know I will never get close on cost. I have to work on my quality. And that's actually why I'm in this, is because I want to make the best chocolate possible. So I hope that in 10 years, I'll make a better chocolate than I make today. That's for sure. And the other area where I think we must continue to improve is the customer engagement. So just like FBM, when I receive a machine from you, that's not where the relationship ends. The relationship continues through the service. I think with chocolate, obviously it's not like a tempering machine, but it's similar. The customer needs to continue to interact with the brand. They little things like tastings or tours or experiences. There's so many opportunities to interact with the customers to further what you're doing. People want this, and I think in the future, as more and more people get into chocolate, that will become more important. A lot of us are working with the same origins, quite frankly. Yes, we are making different chocolates with that, but I think the difference will come in how we're interacting with a customer and how we're building our brands. And that's where I see us working. Number one, with quality, and number two, how we're engaging with our customer base.
Yeah. And about the bean to bar, how do you see?
The bean to bar, I think this group will continue to grow. I mean, FBM and the other companies are going to continue to democratize chocolate. It's a very democratic field today. The barriers to entry will get lower and the quality will go up. I am sure of this. And I think that at some point, it behaves like any other industry. When I got into ice cream, there was an ice cream shop in every corner, and it's extremely saturated. It will get more competitive for us, and that's why we have to focus on how we're interacting with the customer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Ronald, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure, as always, to talk to you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, and keep up the good work.
And thanks, and say hello also to Davina.
Yes, I will.
Is working with you,
Wonderful
please.
wife.
Yeah.
That wonderful chocolate maker.
Yes, of course.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye.